Hi there, it's Kute here, sending you big love wherever you are right now. If you're watching this, I wanted to make a short video. For those of you out there that might be facing some unique decisions, some challenging decisions, maybe you're facing a crossroads and you're not quite sure what to do. Perhaps you've been guided, you feel this intuition inside of you, you've been guided, you have a dream and you've been guided to leave your city, go to another city, to leave your job, to end the relationship. You feel this dream, this impulse inside of you, and you're just not quite sure how are you going to manifest it, how are you going to do it, and you're in this zone, you're letting go of what you know, everything you know, and it's scary as hell. Do you know what I'm saying? You built a life, but now you're told by your soul, by your guidance, by God, by some feeling sense inside of you, everything in your being tells you to let go of who you've been, to let go of what you've done, and you're feeling that something new, something different, something even more authentic than before is seeking to express through you, but you're not quite sure exactly how it's going to play out. You're not quite sure exactly how the vision is going to happen. You're not quite sure, and you don't have the answers, and you don't have the roadmap. You're in uncharted territory, and there's a part of you that's excited, and it feels right, and it feels aligned, but it's a little scary. Have you ever been in those moments? When I was 18 years old, I left London, knew no one in the US. For those of you that read my book or know my story, my father had 300 churches in Ghana, West Africa. I was supposed to take over his churches, but everything in my soul said I needed to go in a different direction and unfold my sense of purpose and making a difference in people's lives in a totally different way. And I had no clue the specifics of how it was going to happen, and many times because we're in the unknown, we don't know, we're in uncharted territory, we feel this impulse, and it's so scary that many times we don't fully throw our arms wide open and say, universe, yes, a full yes to the calling of what you are being guided to do. So my invitation in this short video is a few things. Number one, if you're feeling an impulse, if you're feeling a calling, a dream or a vision, say the full yes, full, heart open, wide open yes to the recognition and the acknowledgement of what you are being guided and called to do. But you might say, I don't really know specifically what I'm being guided to do. I was just told to pack up and go to the other side of the world. I was just told to leave my job, but I don't know what's next. There's this illusion, I think, sometimes in the self-help movement, the personal growth movement, that you have to know exactly what you're going to do. You have to know exactly the next step. You have to have your entire plan mapped out on a little piece of paper. And once you know, then you should act. You have to know. I believe that the mind is limited. The mind is limited. The mind can only see based on its filters, based on its current level of conditioning. The mind is always strategizing. The mind strategizing. The mind will never fully know everything in terms of the totality of the possibilities that are seeking to happen for you in your life right now. But your soul has a wisdom. Your soul has a knowing. So I'm also then inviting you, my friends, to trust bigger than your mind. If you have a dream, if you have a vision, if you've been given a guidance, that dream, that vision has chosen you for a reason. It's chosen you because you are the perfect person based on your experience, based on everything you've been through, your successes, your failures, everything you have touched, tasted, breathed, lived, even those painful things, you're the perfect person to fulfill it. And I'm going to propose this, that even though you might not know maybe what will happen next, how will I survive, how will I make money, right? Some of those human level fears that we all have. Once you say yes to it and you trust bigger than your mind, you realize that your dream chose you for a reason, but you also realize if your dream chose you, then that dream that you're feeling, that impulse that you're feeling, doesn't belong to you, it belongs to life. And you, my friend, you are a vessel. You are the vessel. You're simply the vessel that gets to show up and say yes and be used by life. You are the vessel that life uses to manifest the dream and the vision into three-dimensional, into form in this physical existence. You're the vessel. You just get to show up and trust that same force, the same force that is breathing every single species, 7 billion people, the cats, the dogs, the parrots, the sea creatures, the same intelligence, whatever you want to call it, that is shining the sun and rotating the earth, is the same intelligence that birthed all of existence. And that same intelligence is the same intelligence that knows how to fulfill itself through you. So what if, as you took your next steps, as you leaped off the edge, as you just leaped off the edge of the known, of what you know, of your comfort zone, what if you actually didn't have to know where you were going in order to get exactly where you needed to be? What if you didn't have to have a clue with your mind, which is always limited? You know, the soul is infinite, your mind is limited. And if you trust your soul, usually what ends up happening will be way beyond anything you could write down in your journal, will be way beyond anything you could strategize with your mind, because your soul is the source of all. Your soul is the source of all existence. Your soul is one with everything, connected to everything, as everything. So what I'm saying, my friends, is if you're guided to do something, if you're guided to go somewhere, if you feel that impulse, that intuition, I know some of you watching this right now are feeling it. You've been guided, and maybe you've been sitting at home trying to figure out how you're going to make it work. You've been sitting at home trying to analyze it. You've been sitting at home for a year, for a month, for a week, for a month, for a year, for 10 years, for 20 years, for a lifetime. I want this video right now, as you're watching me, to be a wake-up call, to inspire you to leap, to take the leap. So what if you didn't need to know? Because there is a dimension of your being that is guiding you, the same force that is guiding you, that dimension of your being knows everything, because at the deepest level you are everything. Your soul has a GPS that is beyond the three-dimensional, beyond physical. Trust bigger than your mind. And when you really take the leap, when you trust, many times we say, you know, I'm just waiting for the universe. I'm just waiting for some more clues. Give me some clues. Every second of your life, everything that's ever happened to you, every human being you've ever met, every success, and even your failures which have been preparing you, every breath that you take, my friend, is a clue. So you don't need to wait for any more clues from the universe. Just the fact that you're alive, just the fact that you're here, just the fact that every second you are being breathed is the very clue that you are looking for. So if you feel the impulse, I invite you to move forward with courage. And even though you may not know where that next step is going to lead you, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you're taking the step of faith. Even though you don't know where the next step is going to lead you, I believe that when you take a step, the next step will reveal itself as you take the next step, and then the next step will reveal itself. Life will reveal itself to you in the process of living itself. And I believe that life rewards action. And you can try and figure out everything and all the moves and how it's going to happen and the money and all of that from back here. But many times, what's needed to unlock the next level of your life is in step number 5. That I believe that connected to your vision, connected to your dream, connected to your intention, are people, are situations, are souls, are angels, are a whole host of support from the universe simply waiting for you. So if you've been waiting for the universe, my friend, today is your day to realize the universe is waiting for you right now. So what do you get to give up? What waiting do you get to give up? What excuses do you get to give up today? What stories about yourself do you get to give up today? One of the things I have seen that often stops many of us from taking a step forward and really risking and going into the unknown. By the way, I believe that your ability, the degree, your freedom, the level of your freedom is really determined by the degree to which you can relax in the unknown. And the more you can relax in the unknown and dance in the unknown will determine the level of your freedom. You know, one of the reasons I've often seen sometimes we feel an impulse, a vision or a dream and we don't really go for it is if we don't really go for it, if we don't really risk, if we don't really put ourselves on the line, give our all and we hold back, we can always have the vision, the goal, the dream as a future fantasy possibility, as a future hope in the future of something that could happen. But if we go for it, there's always the risk that it might not work, or we might be disappointed, or it might not work quite how we want it to work. So sometimes it's safer to not really go for it and kind of sit on the sidelines. So my friends, today, I invite you to embrace the unknown, dance in the unknown, because even when you thought you knew, if you look back on your life, right, even when you thought you knew what was, I mean, look at the relationships in your life, when you're like, this is my soulmate, this is the one, this is how this is going to be, this is how that's going to be. Even when you thought you knew, even when you were so sure about something, look at all the times that it turned out completely differently. Look at all the times that the things you were so sure about really weren't what you perceived them to be originally. So when you can show up to life without imposing your mind on life, when you can show up to life without trying to manipulate life into being something, then you actually can show up to life with a full humility, with openness, and with innocence, like a child who doesn't really know and project what something's going to be, but a child is open, like, what is this? A child is open to finding out. My invitation is as you show up to this moment of life, even in the midst of your unknown, and if you're in a moment of unknown where you're not quite sure what's happening and what's going to happen, and maybe it's your relationship, maybe it's where you're going to live, maybe it's what you're going to do, maybe it's the current state of your job, or whatever it might be, if you can show up to life and live in a state of curiosity. And the curious mind is not simply what's the answer. The curious mind is not attached to the answer. The curious mind is fascinated by the question. I wonder why this is showing up. I'm excited to find out what's going to happen next. I wonder what's around the corner. I wonder what I can learn from this experience right now. Because the journey and the process will help you evolve as a soul in becoming who you are meant to be, no matter what the outcome. Celebrate the unknown, my friends. Dance in the unknown, my friends. Because life is not a math problem. Life is a poem. Life is poetry. Embrace it. Sending you love wherever you are right now. If you enjoyed this video blog, please share it with everyone you know and subscribe to my YouTube channel and also my email list. You'll receive weekly updates and inspiration from me to support you in living the life you were meant to live. Love now.